Where is it? There it is. What is going on, everybody? Here we are. Sunday, June 9th, the nicest of days. And I am here live before lock, myself and EMAC, breaking down this 10-gamer. And I think it's just kind of normal. We've got all the lineups are in. I don't think that we have any truly worrisome weather concerns. We just kind of get to talk about baseball for an hour. So, EMAC, what's going on?
Oh, it's been a glorious weekend. The wife is out of town. She's out in Ohio. Her friend's daughter is in a musical play. I don't remember what it is this year. I think last year it was kind of a takeoff of Wicked. I forget what it is this year, but she's in the high school until she only got one more year left after that. So my wife wanted to go see that. So it's me and the dog. You get a lot of bachelor weekends.
Well, now that I'm getting the whole weekend, but she left about 20 minutes ago. back tomorrow, just an in and out to Boston.
Oh, well, that's not too bad. Too bad. Yeah, I've had pizza. I've made egg sandwiches. It's been a good weekend. Had whatever I really wanted. Today it's going to be macaroni and cheese with some kielbasa and onions. So I'm looking forward to that.
Sounds similar to me. Yeah, that's pretty. Eating pizza on the weekend when the wife is out of town is par for the course for me, as I'm sure everybody already knows at this point. Given that I've eaten 3.5 pounds worth of pizza on this show to begin with. Oh man.
Sorry, I meant to mute that. I'm just pouring the last of my soda into my glass here.
You're good. So if you were really having the bachelor weekend, that would have been a 12:04 p.m. beer.
Yeah, still have work in the morning, so no need for that. And I'm presenting, so sure. I'll be working this afternoon. That's why I'm having whatever I want for food, because there won't be any tasty beverages today.
There you go. Let's get the quick plugs out of the way. Either live before lock or MLB strategy. MLB strategy is the promo code on the overlay right now, so let's go with that. MLB strategy, one big word. If you're looking to sign up at Awesemo, go ahead and use that promo code. You can get 50% off your first month with us, any monthly package you choose, including packages with Fantasy Cruncher. So if you want to check that out, all you have to do is use the promo code MLB strategy. And as usual, we are brought to you by Yahoo. EMAC, if you're able, can you drop your link into chat?
Oh, of course. I've got the Spotlight Hitters and Stacks article in there. There's a link, third paragraph, tells you how to utilize the promo code and come in on that link to the Yahoo for your initial deposit bonus up to $30 matched in Yahoo Sports Rewards points. Those are yesterday's star pitcher Rick Porcello, as you like to call him. But yeah, check that out. And then that article also has a link to Spotlight Pitchers article that I think someone wrote today.
Someone did write it. He might be on the show with you right now.
We're getting a little synergy there. So we got some nice dual cross promotion. We've got Yahoo, and shout out to them. I finished 8th last night in the management fee free tournament.
Nice.
So last Friday and Saturday I had top 10s. I didn't cash it all on Sunday. And then Friday I did okay. And then yesterday I had a top 10. So it's been a nice week. I got a bunch of one $50 worth of tickets and netted about $180 on 2 lineups on FanDuel. So that was fun.
There you go.
Good times, and broke even on DraftKings. So all in all, not too shabby.
Can't beat it. I played absolutely nothing yesterday. It was very, very nice. I love Saturdays. I love getting away from it for a day. Need the mental reset, and I can come out guns a-blazing every Sunday. So, we had a topic of conversation on the show on Friday, and it's going to be the topic of conversation again today. Be surprised to know that a Mets starting pitcher against the Colorado Rockies has been priced relatively low and is the chalk. Who could have seen this coming? Oh, wait, we saw this happen 2 days ago. It could have happened yesterday. I have no idea. Zach Wheeler could have pitched yesterday and been 6,400 on DraftKings or something at the rate they're going.
It discounted Steven Matz.
Okay,
is what it was.
Was he legit free?
He wasn't free, and he was but he was about, I think, ended up being close to half owned on the 2 pitcher sites.
Insanity. So I think we need to start there because that's probably the biggest piece of conversation. Mets and Rockies. And we have Noah Syndergaard as the chalk pitcher across all 3 sites. He's $42 on Yahoo, 8,400 on FanDuel, 8,900 on DK. On DraftKings, he is the 7th most expensive pitcher, $200 behind Wade Miley. He's $2,000 behind Jake Odorizzi. I don't know what to do here any longer. They're really making this unfun for me. How do you want to handle Thor?
Yeah, I don't really know what to do. I think I'm probably just going to match the field because the price is too good. I'm playing on Yahoo today. I've got my 10 in the management fee free contest, and then I've got a bunch on DK. I'll probably go about 50% would be my guess, just because I literally don't know what to do. But as I'm saying that, I'm building a Rockies stack here on Yahoo because, well, one, they're incredibly expensive. Two, if it goes sideways, it's going to go sideways in a big way, and I want to be on the other side of that. And it's going to be contrarian as heck, is my guess.
Sure.
So,
yeah, they are not projected to get very much ownership right now. Here's the one that I don't get, and maybe you could lead me to the right answer here. We got 22% expected ownership going the other way in this game. Jeff Hoffman, 7,600. Not going to lie, little surprised to see him get to 22% ownership at that price tag. Are you getting to Jeff Hoffman at all?
I am on Yahoo where he's 26.
Okay,
so
that is a very different price point.
Yes.
Yes. That one makes perfect sense. Not sure I see it in the middle of the pitching tier.
Not today. I'd on DK. I'd rather. There's a variety of guys I'd rather go with. Not that. Yeah, there's just a variety of guys I'd rather go with.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on the same page. In particular, the guy that is directly above him, Pablo Lopez, but not that that's super interesting. So let's talk about the top end then. On DraftKings,
Fried would be the guy I would probably go to 500 less.
No problems with that. Grades out really well. Projected for 15.2 DK points in Awesome's projections. Got a bunch of guys at the top. Odorizzi, Robbie Ray, the Beebs, Blake Snell, Aaron Nola on FanDuel. Nola miraculously $300 cheaper than Syndergaard on DraftKings today. Fantastic. Where are you looking at the high end? Where are you looking to spend your pitching dollars?
So I was focusing mostly on Yahoo at the moment, but if we look at just those first few games, and we'll do around the horn here at the end. I'll talk about the late slate because I've been doing a lot of looking at that. So running down the overarching pitchers, I think Jake Odorizzi at 10.9 is fine in context. He has a 2 ERA, literally. 1.96 ERA and a 0.96 WHIP. He has over a strikeout per inning this season, almost 1.1. He's been phenomenal. He's not the reverse splits pitcher anymore. He's changed his pitch mix and is being a little bit more aggressive. Adam and Laffy have broken that down multiple times. He should be good. He threw 108 in his last outing there against Tampa Bay. I don't know. There might have been some underlying themes there, but he should be safe to get in the mid-90s. Would not be a shock to see him get 100. This is one of the better matchups going against the Tigers, who are not particularly fearsome on offense. They are carrying a 3.9 implied run total, and the only guys that make me even a little nervous are Goodrum, Stewart, and Castellanos, and really it's just Castellanos. So I think if you're spending, I understand why. I think the interesting thing with the way pitcher pricing has been, particularly on DraftKings, is you're making different decisions. And Jake and I were talking about this a little bit, saying, Scherzer was phenomenal last night. Even came back out after taking a pitch off his left calf, and clearly he was hobbling, and he actually had to take his at bat, and it went to a full count, and he wasn't even going to swing, and it literally went to a full count. The other pitcher, you're like, and he's sitting there glaring at the other pitcher, like, would you just strike me out?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to swing.
I'm good here, dude.
Yeah. So, but he was phenomenal. So, we're caught in that mix of, it's a recency bias, but just because a bunch of aces got their ass kicked doesn't mean they all are.
Right.
So that's something you definitely have to think of. And then, but for me, I think the question is it worth saving $2,000 and upgrading 2 bats and just going with these mid-tier guys? Because the strategy, particularly at FanVice and then sort of last summer as we came over here to Osmo, was to look for the cheapest pitchers we could find and survive with. they're pricing most of them up. So that strategy isn't really as viable as it was. Now it feels like you're not getting as much savings as you ought to be.
Right.
But are you really? I mean, because you really have to count in that ownership discount. So someone like Syndergaard today, is it better to just go away from him? That I don't know. There's a lot of different ways. Well, if you believe in him, no, you should play him. If you're concerned about recent track record, then go in another direction. If you are playing him, we have 20 teams worth of hitters. We can differentiate. That's not going to be a problem. That's not. I saw someone asking in the premium chat, can you fade Scherzer or Syndergaard in a GPP? Yeah, you absolutely can. You can fade anybody you want. It doesn't matter. But what are you going to do that's going to equal his approximate projection?
Right.
Or is his approximate downside have come into play enough that whatever other person you're taking, either higher or lower, mathematically, a little cross multiplication there, are you getting the probability of your guy doing as good, at least close enough to the time to just roll the dice on it? And that's the question we have every day. So I don't know. I'm nervous about Syndergaard, but I'm going to have my contrarian stack here, and I'm going to be good to go. And there we are. I'll have him on half my lineups.
Yeah, I should be nervous because this just seems to be breaking every time that I do it, but Noah Syndergaard has the highest projection in Alex's model. He's the 7th most expensive pitcher, and he's 8,900. That to me says that he should be owned a lot more than 34%, like we're projecting, and he is for me. But I didn't expect. I honestly expected it to be a little bit higher. That's a really low price for DraftKings. As I don't know, what do you call him? Like an SP 1.5?
Yeah, he's on that fringe tier. Where's my sheet?
Because you can easily, Syndergaard and Aaron Nola as a combination, and only paying 17.5 in pitching is craziness. It's absolutely crazy for the highest projected and 4th highest projected starter. You get them as the 7th and 8th most expensive pitchers.
All right, here's the question. Without looking, and I doubt you've got this number up, how many career starts has Syndergaard made?
Jesus, I have no idea. 110.
Today will be number 100.
That's a pretty damn good guess.
Yeah, no, it really is. And when you consider, he's been hurt a couple different seasons, but he should be a guy that gets 30 starts a year if he was, an ace. Well, in 5 seasons, he's still managing just to get to his 100. So he's hurt a lot.
Sure.
But the human body's not designed to throw things 95 miles an hour. That stems the brakes. But yeah, what I don't know. What do you do with him? So I think we may have anointed him because of the hair and the nickname and the early results a bit much. But perhaps he is, a number 2 starter. Shoot, I wouldn't mind if he was on my team. But I don't know that he's the safety is going to be there or a great outcome in this game. On the other side, and we'll talk about some of the other games too, but the Rockies have a bottom 3 WRC plus, which is weighted runs created plus, the advanced metric that neutralizes park factors, wait for it. So it neutralizes their Coors Field effect. Against righties, their bottom 3. On the road, their bottom 3. So how it works for on the road is you're not at home, and then it compares everybody else. Just familiar environment. It doesn't mean Coors Field versus Petco Park versus Oracle Park, etc. It just means road, home, and everything else they try to neutralize and take the noise out of it. So when they're not in Coors Field, they're not good.
No, they're not. That's the first thing that I looked up this morning is what's their I even listed it in Spotlight Pitchers. WRC plus is their 28th or 27th or something like that in baseball.
See, look, we're both looking at the same
on the
thing.
road. And I was just like, okay, that's all I needed. Well, because my first thought was, okay, Syndergaard's going to be crazy chalky. Just knew it as soon as I saw it. Didn't need to even look into it any further. And I was like, how bad is Colorado on the road? Not that, I don't generally look at that at all, but I was hoping for some data points that at least agree with what I know was going to happen when I crunch. And sure enough, they're at the ass end of those rankings. And I just can't avoid something like that. They hit, what was their weighted runs created plus on the road? Like 77 or something like that?
Yeah, it's like Miami. It's like
putrid.
them in Miami.
Yeah, so...
And then Baltimore, which was actually better, so...
Like, is Charlie Blackmon back and hitting at the top of the lineup? Yeah, that's incredibly helpful for Colorado. However, they still have Tapia, McMahon, I mean, Chris Iannetta has power. He's never really flashed that against a right-handed hitter or a right-handed pitcher. He gets the pitch to Jeff Hoffman. Like, I'll take my shot. So, what up, Thor? You ready to ruin my Sunday?
Will he be watching some Avengers?
God, I don't know. Does he die in them? Because I'm more willing to watch those movies if I know that he dies. If he dies today,
I've never seen any of them. So
neither have I.
I've watched some clips on YouTube. It seems like those are funny movies and stuff, but yeah, I just haven't watched them.
Yeah, I'm gonna need someone to avenge me if I get another guy blown up again at high ownership.
Well, we have to ask the question.
No, we don't.
Come on.
I don't have to ask that question.
What would Sean V do?
Probably not play him and say it's an atrocious play, which makes me feel even better.
Yeah, he didn't want to play Greinke yesterday because he had a 6.2 career ERA and 5 starts in Toronto.
Yeah.
The last time he pitched in Toronto was 2010.
Well, right. I mean, that's the point of me not wanting to acknowledge it. Now we can talk about real things, real important information, like who are you fading? Because I've got and I'm speaking for DK right now, but this will largely translate everywhere, barring any major price changes. I have pretty significant fades against 5 separate starters. I'm really that rarely happens for me, and yet it's happening here. I basically don't have Odorizzi. Not that this is a monster fade, but I basically have no Wade Miley. I'm half the field on Eduardo Rodriguez. I have 1% Jeff Hoffman compared to his 22. I am more than half below Fried, more than half below Chase Anderson. I'm just not on these guys. And I mentioned Pablo Lopez before. I have a lot of Pablo Lopez. Any of those guys standing out as guys you like a lot, or do you have any interesting Pablo Lopez thoughts?
So let's hit each one of them. Pablo Lopez, a little bit. He recently saw Atlanta, so that goes both ways. But he is solid pitcher. The roof is closed in Miami, and it's technically not really, other than Albies not being in there, it's not a watered down lineup per se. Albies is in there. He's up to 6th. It's not really a watered down lineup here. So it's not going to be easy, but I'm okay with him at 7,800. I'm not trying to get him. On the other side, Max Fried, he makes me a little bit nervous just because strikeouts have dried up a little bit, but he's going against Miami, and that's something that we like there. What were your other two? Odorizzi. I'm still good with Odorizzi. I think this is a good matchup for him. I like the weather.
I think it's really hard to pay for Jake Odorizzi at 10-9 when he's the most expensive pitcher on DraftKings. The fact that I got 1% is blowing my mind. I can't believe he's 10-9 though.
What are you trying to do with stacks, or what offense is contributing to you not wanting to have him on the field for your lineups?
Oh, he is what contributes to me not having him. Okay. It's not a stack. He just never grades out all that well for me. He's at 17.7 points in Alex's model, which is behind Robbie Ray. It's behind Blake Snell. It's behind Syndergaard. It's behind Aaron Nola. It's relatively equal to Eduardo Rodriguez. All of those people I'm naming are priced below him. So he ends up just having a lot of trouble getting into lineups like that. But he does have, it is a really nice spot for him. He's just completely overpriced.
Okay. Who were the other 3?
Any Wade Miley for you?
No, not really a fan. He was only with Baltimore for a season or a season and a half, so not really enough revenge there. Plus, he's going to the playoffs, so he's not very vengeful.
Who else? I mentioned Hoffman. You've touched on him. Any Eduardo Rodriguez for you? He's got a little bit of love.
So, yes, he is one guy I don't mind. I think I'd actually lean a little bit more towards him as opposed to Snell. Their price points are relatively equal, but going against Boston, never an exciting option. But check out that bottom 4 there for Boston. Sam Travis getting the Sunday start. Sandy Leone, Jackie Bradley, Marco Hernandez. Those are not scary bats.
Yeah, that's half of a Pawtucket lineup right there.
It is. JD Martinez with the back spasms, not in the lineup again. Michael is it Chavez or Chavis?
You're asking the wrong guy. I get this stuff wrong constantly.
But he's batting cleanup. I didn't know who he was until about 4 weeks ago. So, you can get a little Snell, and it's not bad. But I still like Rodriguez just a little bit better. The best hitters for Tampa Bay are lefties, so they're not in the lineup today, outside of Brandon Lau.
Yes.
Let me see here. Yeah, because no Yeeman Choi and no, I don't know, like Kiermaier's one of their better hitters, but he's solid. So they're going real heavy righty. But Eduardo is actually decent against righties, and he has a better strikeout rate than we give him credit for. The other thing that's really interesting, so in my mind, I still think of league average strikeout somewhere between 20 and 21. Do you know it's almost 23 and a half at this point?
Lyman, every year now.
It's ticking up, but I'm wondering, and I wish I would have pulled it, just looking at starters versus relievers. I'm wondering if that's goosed up a little bit just because relievers are getting more innings, so therefore fresher arms are getting more. But we know hitters are swinging more, and they're trying for, launch angle and home run or bust and all that stuff. But it was just surprising to me because you used to say, 18's not that bad. Yeah, 18 actually is not good anymore.
Very true. It's very true. Yeah, it's changed dramatically. Actually, let me grab it just since we have some time. What has been the change over the past few years? So if I go to FanGraphs, this fancy site that I've been told about in chat today. Let's do team pitching stats, and we'll do league.
Are you getting to the Biebs at all? Let me talk about him if we're not.
Not as much as I thought that I would. Okay.
So the Biebs is 49 on Yahoo. He is $4 less than Walker Buehler and Steven Strasburg. I would rather go with one of those guys if I can. The Biebs is intriguing going against New York. He is actually a good strikeout pitcher. New York does offer up some strikeouts there, but they are also getting healthy. Now, we don't have Didi's not in the lineup, but he's back. We got Cameron Maben today, Luke Voigt, Hicks, LeMahieu, Sanchez, Torres, Frazier. So, kind of the expected guys without Stanton and Judge. But, I'm still okay rolling the dice on the Biebs. Now, he's at 10-2. We've got Ray at 10-6.
Yeah.
You've got Snell at 9-8. All of a sudden, Snell becomes more appealing with that context.
Yeah. Not exactly your traditional Red Sox lineup. So Snell is definitely in play for me. Normally, I'm a guy that's a lot above the field on Bieber. He's someone that I'm generally interested in more than everybody else. Today's not really that day just because of the way pricing's breaking out with Syndergaard and Nola priced so well at their area. Having Snell at 9,800, it just makes it really tough. I wish I had more because I do like Bieber quite a bit. So I have the strikeout numbers. I've got him over the past 10 years.
Okay.
Well, 9 years, we'll call it. So 2010, league strikeout rate for starting pitchers was 17.6%.
Okay.
In 2019, it's 22.3%, which is a 26.7% increase in that stretch. That's how much strikeout rates have gone up for starting pitching. Walk rate is exactly the same. Nothing has changed there. The home runs per 9 innings has gone from 0.99 to 1.39 so far this season. So bunch more strikeouts and a bunch of dongs. It's nuts. It really takes. You really do have to recalibrate your brain to the things that you got used to in like the middle of this decade.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
It's a big time switch.
That's almost as crazy as Mitch Garver being 20 on Yahoo.
Dollars?
$20.
You didn't accidentally click like a different currency, did you?
I was just making sure of that. You know what? I'll take Travis d'Arnaud batting 5th for 7.
Yeah.
Roll the dice against Eduardo Rodriguez.
Not that I have some personal problem with Mitch Garver or anything, but $20 is 20 American dollars. That's 20 American, right? Not Canadian.
That is correct. Though they are close to the border there, it is 20 American.
I don't know the exchange rate any longer.
I want to say it's like $1.10. theirs to ours, somewhere around there.
It's better than what it was when I went, but that was 10 plus years ago. What is the exchange rate? Nobody cares about this.
Having lived, well, I'm going to talk about it. Having lived in the state of Washington and working as a bank teller, you had to know how to do currency conversions.
$1.32 Canadian is a dollar.
Okay,
that's about where it was when I was there.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've paid attention long enough that it actually in the mid to late 90s flipped, and it was actually better to have Canadian money than U.S. money.
Nice.
Which it rarely happens, but
I felt like I was playing playing DFS. Every time I gave them $1, they gave me $1.25 back. It was like 25% ROI on this money.
Well, we would go in. My brother and I would, when we'd go up to Canada, we'd realize that the video games there took American quarters or Canadian quarters, so we turn our dollar into 5 plays instead of 4.
Nice. We're getting a bunch of questions about Wade Miley. We won't mention them because we want them off of him. I have 1% Wade Miley. I'd be happy if it was 0. And I have 2% on FanDuel. So I have absolutely no interest in Wade Miley. I have 1% Jake Odorizzi. I have absolutely no interest in him as well. I like guys when they're priced at places where they don't belong. The good way, not the bad way. Like Noah Syndergaard or Aaron Nola, for example. When those guys are going to be priced at 89 and 86, it makes it a lot harder to spend $2,000 more on someone like Jake Odorizzi. I don't know. Talk to me about Miley. You said you didn't like him. I said I didn't like him, but apparently that's not enough. People want to know. People want to change our minds today.
Oh, let me hit refresh here and get my filters up. I'm just continuing to build out I need a $7 outfielder here on Yahoo.
I could hook you up with that in a second once I get these lineups in.
Let's go with JD Davis. Why not? Batting 5th. That works. All right. So we're talking Baltimore. We're talking Wade Miley. So Miley, since the beginning of last season, has 4.3 xFIP, which is relatively good. He does not allow a ton of power, despite what a lot of people believe. He has combined 120 isolated power over his last 700 batters. So that's pretty solid.
Yeah. But
he does not get a lot of strikeouts at 17%. Walks are a little higher than I would like, but not horrible. And then the fly ball rate's really good. Ground ball rate is relatively solid. So, I mean, I can understand why people are going to get there, but I still think Renato Nunez. I like Severino. I mean, Severino does have 3 home run upside. You've got Mancini. Those guys are all pretty good. Yeah, the lineup drops off pretty well after that, but I'm not really excited about Miley because I don't see strikeouts.
Yeah, I agree.
And at 9,100, that just feels a little.
So it's 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. Normally, at the half-hour mark, we have a little thing that we do. And I think we're going to do that again right now. It's dong pick time. I wish I had a sound effect for it. I should probably work on that. Let me pull up the standings so I can, be unhappy about it.
Jake and I forgot to make picks yesterday, which was a shame because we would have gotten a home run because I'm sure we were both on the Angels outfield pretty heavy, and I was really on Dozier. I was thinking about taking Dozier, but we did not officially make it, so we do not have picks yesterday.
So you were a big fan of the Angels in the outfield last night?
Do I do the sign?
God, that's the worst.
That's one of the worst movies ever.
Oh my God. That is all sorts of atrocious. All right, here's the stats on dong picks. Emax got 12. He's got the highest percentage of picks correct at 31%.
When was the last time I got one right? Is a better way to say that.
Was last Saturday, Paul Goldschmidt. I have not gotten one right since May 24th. You guys have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There have been 9 correct dong picks since I last got one right. Yikes. 12 for Emac, 10 for Chris right now, 9 for Jake and I, although Jake has more correct picks. I just happen to have the only double dong, which is really the only thing that matters as far as I'm concerned. I'm winning the double dong contest, and that's all that matters. Emac, you are the leader in the clubhouse, so The floor is yours. Who would you like to get a dong from?
Who do I want? Yeah, well, we'll set that down right there. We're picking early slate only, right?
You mean the main slate?
The main slate. Well, yeah, whatever. Let me go over to Spotlight stacks and see what I liked there. While it is tempting to think Ketel Marte, Clayton Richards does have a pretty high ground ball rate. I am going with Ryan Braun against Steven Brault.
Ryan Braun. Okay.
I really, really, really think Jesus Aguilar is a good play, but I'm taking him for the discount, not the dong pick. But I think if he's going to get one, he's slumping he is in such a slump this year. But Ryan Braun, 35 years old, 240 ISO in his last 237 at bats against lefties.
He comes in 26th in the home run model.
Yeah, not bad.
I've got mine ready. You ready for this?
Fire it up.
This is the man hitting 5th, I believe, today. Yes, hitting 5th for the Astros. Got an interesting symbol. I'm taking Yordan Alvarez as my home run pick today. Give me that dong, Yordan. Give me that dong. Yordan Alvarez, come on down. I love it. This is going to be the one that gets me back on the train of dongs. Yordan Alvarez for me. Ryan Braun for EMAC. Don't get the sense we're going to be seeing any picks coming out of Jake or Chris today. So, there we go. I'm getting one today. It's going to be a very satisfying Sunday. Lots of Thor strikeouts. Lots of Yordan Alvarez dongs. Doesn't get much better than that. Let's talk hitting. Since we've touched on pitching for the first half, we just got our dong picks in. Chalk stack of the day on both sites. Well, chalk stack on FanDuel. One of the chalk stacks on DraftKings. We've got the Minnesota Twins. They've got a 5.5 run implied total right now against the Tigers. Tigers tossing out last weekend's ace Ryan Carpenter, or whatever day he pitched and mowed people down. How do you feel about these Twins and their chalkiness?
Yahoo, they're incredibly expensive, so not really landing on them there. I understand the appeal. I think it's a reasonable route to take. For me, I'd rather go with Milwaukee, personally, because I think between Jesus Aguilar and Hernan Perez, they are a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
and you can do a little bit more with your pitching, which would be what I would attempt to do.
So Brewers, they're getting, Steven Brault plus whatever else is coming in from the Pirates. Tons of power. Nothing too crazy with price. It's basically just Yelich and Moustakas. They're a little unfun to stack just because of their outfield start, but I am just around the field on FanDuel and DK for the Brewers, so I can't really disagree all that much with you. They do look good, and their power potential is kind of unrivaled. Who else is standing out? Other teams that are getting... So the Astros are relatively chalky. They are the chalk stack on DK. Not as much on FanDuel. Is that a squad you're looking to at all?
I'm okay with it. I'm just now turning my focus over here to running some crunches, which is a shame I didn't get to my Yahoo, but we still have 30 minutes before first pitch, and we do have all the lineups, so this will be a little less bumpy than it is sometimes. Let's see. I don't have my favorite article open, my favorite premium feature here is the Osmo Stacks tool. You know what blows my mind? Those are Alex actually does these.
Yes, he does.
They're his.
They are.
So if you want an update or you need something, you're like, oh, this is it. You're like, no, you got to ask Alex.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Oh yeah, these are his.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Just saying, the site's named after him for a reason.
Yeah, that's for sure. This isn't JoshEngelman.com anymore. You get good stuff. So here are some of my top exposures. I'm going to go based on how much I'm over the field, and it's 4 teams. Twins, Mets, Rays, Pirates.
Really?
Yeah. And that is mostly happening on FanDuel. I am neutral on DK.
I will say Young Ho Gung is back, and he is $7 on Yahoo.
He's the flat minimum on FanDuel as well, which is kind of appealing. But yeah, I think there's a little bit more pop to be found in this Pirates lineup than we probably think. Chase Anderson can get some strikeouts for sure. That's not really the Pirates' MO. But we know how this park plays for lefty power. So, you get Josh Bell switch hitting, Colin Moran, not a ton of pop, but at least he gets the lefty-righty. Gregory Polanco, Gong projects to have some power. It is righty-righty. I don't feel great running into Chase Anderson, but I'm willing to take my chances. I'm a little surprised by how big that line is. 5.5 implied total for the Brewers, 4 for the Pirates. So 1.5 run gap. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Brault is pitching for the Pirates and Chase Anderson is going for Milwaukee. And obviously the Brewers lineup is terrifying.
Let's see. They're asking in chat, Robbie Ray or Syndergaard. So Robbie Ray probably has a little bit better strikeout matchup. Toronto not as much power with this particular incarnation. Now, to be fair, that's you don't have a lot of track record there with Biggio having 11 at bats in lefty-lefty matchups, but you're looking at Freddie Galvis, Dan Jansen. I think I would go Robbie Ray over Syndergaard.
Depends what tournament you're in.
I was
what
going to say
doing.
in
cash,
tournament.
The answer is Syndergaard.
Yeah, that I would agree with. Just go with the block. You're not really getting a lot of downside, and if he does what people are projecting him to do, you're going to want that as a minimum as the block.
Yeah.
In tournaments, I think Robbie Ray.
There's certainly a case to be made for Robbie Ray in pivoting to Robbie Ray in a single entry or something. Right now, Syndergaard is projected for 24% ownership. Ray is at 12. That's about what I think it should be. A 2-to-1 split. So they're kind of where I think they should be relative to each other. So in those situations, it's hard for me to pick who I want. It would just sort of come down to building out a couple lineups of both and seeing what you gain or what you lose from spending the extra $400, which is going to be minimal. If you showed me a lineup with Robbie Ray and you showed me one lineup with Syndergaard, they're going to look really, really similar, and I don't have any real take as to separating them. I'd probably be willing to be a little bit chalkier in the Robbie Ray lineup, but it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I would agree. The one thing about Ray, though, is he doesn't get as many outs per se, so he doesn't go as far into games as we'd like to see.
Right.
But it's because he's got getting the strikeouts, and that's sort of a trade-off. So 2 strikeouts is easily better than 1 inning pitched. So,
any stacks popping up for you quite a bit?
No, I'm building my little lineups right now. So I'd mentioned this, and some people thought it was helpful, so I'll mention it again. So what I do is I go in and I set. So I do my stuff differently than Josh and Jake and Adam because I don't have. I haven't taken the time to build out a nifty little spreadsheet, and I like to have a more hands-on approach. So usually what I do is on today's slate, there's 10 teams. Or probably 10 games, so that would be 20 teams. I'll start out with 5% as my baseline crunch exposure for each team, and then I'll go through and set the teams I want more about 7 or 10%. So today, that clearly would be Milwaukee, so we'll put them at 10. I will go probably 10% there with Kansas City. 10% with Minnesota. And then you want to make sure this equals at least 100 or higher. I usually try to get around 120. I don't want to put everybody at 10 or 15 because then you don't realize who you're not getting.
Right.
So it's easier to build up. Like yesterday, I was not getting the Angels where I had to do it. So I had to rethink what I was doing with my pitchers in eliminating some other stuff because I really, really wanted the Angels, and that worked out. But had I not been paying attention, I wouldn't have realized that I was getting 2% Angels when I really wanted them closer to 10% yesterday.
That's a really good point.
So, and it changes by site depending on the pricing.
Yeah.
But for Yahoo, what I do is I set it on 5 or 6, and I just pick one team at a time and that I want, and I just see what comes out, and then look at the different pitching combos and the 2 one-offs that you get.
There you
Who do you like today?
go. I'll go over both sites, I guess. So,
I'm putting Arizona at 10% as well.
Okay. That is actually right now my biggest fade.
Okay. And that's a fair one because, Clayton Richard, heavy ground ball pitcher, as we talked about earlier in the show.
Yes. Teams I have the most of on FanDuel are Twins, Reds, and Brewers. Teams that I'm most over the field on. I would also be including the Pirates then. But a little bit of love for the Rays, the Mets, the Tigers. And then on DraftKings, it's Twins, Mets, Astros. But I am under the field on the Astros. I'm a little bit over on the Rays. Having a hard time getting away from the Twins today. So I guess I should probably talk about them a little bit. Kind of just glossed over. They are the chalk, but I actually think they should be owned a little bit more than they are. And some of these guys that aren't getting the ownership, that's really where I'm making up most of my ground. So, I'm neutral with Nelson Cruz, who's crazy owned, but he's also Nelson Cruz facing a left-handed pitcher, which he has nuked for 15 years in the majors. So,
well, he's got home runs in 3 straight games too. That's helpful.
Always helpful. But guys like Buxton, who's at 1% ownership on FanDuel because of his price, I got to 11. Like I want to have shares of everybody. I got 9% Kepler right now on FanDuel, who's only hitting 6th in the lefty spot. It's basically unowned on DK. Eddie Rosario, because of the lefty, he's at 4% on FanDuel. I got to 15. So I'm scooping up a lot of exposure in like the low teens area for all of these guys that don't appear to be getting it. So I'm going to have a lot of what I'd think to be unique Twins stacks because some of these guys are just being left off completely. Like on DraftKings, even though the Twins are chalky, only 4 of those guys are above 10%. Eddie Rosario's at 5, Kepler at 1, Sano at 7, Adrian's at 4, Buxton at 2. Just having more of those guys, instead of having one of those guys in your 5-man and you get to 2, most people don't have it. So that's one way that I like to be able to stack up relatively chalky teams, but still have unique construction. Just take an extra guy from that team that most people don't want to play.
Where did you land on Syndergaard? So we'll say it. We've got him at 33% right now.
Let's just say I have a bit more than that.
Oh, God. Is this one of your 70% days?
That would seem more normal than what it is. Let's just call it that and we'll be fine.
Oh, God. Is this the Adam Scherer 96%?
No, that would be way too high. It's 80 or something like that. It's 80 on the dot, actually.
Well, there you are. What'd you end up with Nola?
30.
Okay.
I mean, we do have one guy that we need to talk about. We haven't said it at all. This is only relevant for DraftKings as far as I'm concerned. There's a pitcher going today with a $4,600 price tag. The name of Ronaldo Lopez. And he's got a date with the Kansas City Royals. I got 10% to Lopez. I honestly expected it to be like 25 or 30 when I first crunched. But because of how low some of these guys are priced otherwise, like I don't have to go. Like if everybody was priced where I expected them to, and I'd be getting a ton of like a bunch of 10K guys, then I'd have a lot of Ronaldo Lopez. I don't have as much as I was expecting today, but are you getting to old Arlo today?
I'm capping him at 10 because I can tell already from the point per dollar that he would come flying into my lineups, and I need to be a little bit careful there.
Yeah. On a different day with different pricing, he would really be terrifying because you don't need much out of him for 4,600, and he is quite possibly the biggest boom bust pitcher in baseball because he goes from having like 4 straight days of -9 to like back-to-back DK starts of 40. You don't see those kinds of swings. I don't remember who I was on. I don't think it was you and I that were on the show together when we looked at this.
It was you and Adam, I'm sure.
I actually think that it was me and Laffy, but I truly don't remember. We talk so much in so many different shows that they all kind of just bleed together. But I want to read off his results this year, just his DK points in every start. I'm going to start from the beginning of the season. You ready?
Yep.
I'm going to round them off. So -2, 3, -5, 21, 21, 42, 5, 5, 29, 10, -7, 0, -1. He's had 4 straight starts that have been just putrid, which means today is the day that Ronaldo Lopez drops like the 35 burger. And I feel like it always happens against like the Royals or, some other awful team where you're just like, okay, he beats like the true garbage. I hate it, but to be able to go for like -7 a couple times and have multiple 20 to 30 to 40 point starts, he's just all over the place. He's terrifying. He's terrifying. And yet I have 10% today. And from what you said, you're willing to get to 10?
I've upped it to 20 now.
Oh, I talk you into it?
I wasn't getting the stacks I wanted.
Okay. Well, yeah, he'll open it up a little bit at 4,600.
That's the quickest way to make sure you get 3, 4, 5 hitters instead of 6, 7, 8 hitters.
Absolutely. I guess we should touch on we kind of touched on Pablo Lopez before. I mentioned in Spotlight Pitchers, I don't normally focus or target against the Braves, but Pablo Lopez, righty, I like. I think he's a good pitcher. He's not the best DFS pitcher, but this is a different Braves lineup. Lots of strikeouts from Tyler Flowers. Acuna leading off, while scary because he's good, is important because it was Albies for the longest time who doesn't strike out. But Acuna does. That's extra potential strikeouts by getting someone in that leadoff spot. Donaldson Ks, Austin Riley Ks. There were more strikeouts in this Braves lineup than there were 6 weeks ago. And I think that's kind of getting missed a little bit. So I'm surprised that I'm getting as much Pablo Lopez as I am. I have 23% right now. And he is currently my 3rd most owned pitcher. I have all of my exposure essentially wrapped up in Blake Snell, Noah Syndergaard, Aaron Nola, and Pablo Lopez. Those first 3 sound fine by me. The 4th one, Pablo Lopez at just 5%, but ooh, there it is. Acuna, 4 for 8 and 2 dogs versus Lopez, man. Oh, well, if he had 8 at-bats against him, I should probably just change everything that I've done today. Can't move forward now. Oh, how could I have known that he batted against him 8 times? Right. I don't have the patience for it today.
All right, so I'm only getting Ronaldo at 5% and Pablo at 5%.
Yeah, well, the Pablo one makes some sense. That one makes some sense to me.
Snell, I've got him at 30 and I'm capping out. I'm okay with that. I've got Syndergaard capping at 40. I've got Nola capping at 30. I've got Eduardo Rodriguez capping at 24. And I've got Max Fried capping at 20. And then I got a bunch of guys at 10 or less.
Do you have any concerns with there being 8 righties for the Marlins?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just looking at Fried right now. So his last 3 performances have been, well, his last one was bad against Pittsburgh. His walks have come up as the strikeouts have come down. That is not a good mix.
No, not at all. I'm a fan of Fried. I don't know what to do with these stupid Marlins anymore, man.
Yeah, they're just world beaters when you don't want them to be.
Yeah.
All right, so the field's at 21. I'm going to go 17. Why not? Let's see what that does. I'll give the old Ronaldo a little. I'm surprised I didn't get more of him. Give him a little bump there and see what happens.
I have no hitting in this game. 3% Austin Dean is the most I have of anyone on either side. Oh, God, I love it. I love it. Who else should we touch on so far? Premium Slack, if you want to get some questions in. Happy to get some answers out. Rodriguez or Syndergaard to win a GPP on FanDuel? I would rather have Syndergaard than Erod on FanDuel. Their ownership is kind of close, and I don't see them as particularly comparable.
I would agree. FanDuel, you can. I don't like to go away from whom I think the best pitcher is,
Same.
unless I have a very good reason, like to get a certain stack that's rather expensive. On FanDuel and tournaments, you really on a 10-game slate, you got a double stack.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no way around it. The short slates yesterday, I was building by hand, but I don't think I had more than 3 or 4 guys from any one team on that one, and that happened to work out. But that doesn't mean anything. But it's a better way to, I don't know. When I play FanDuel, it's all about the pitcher to me. If you don't get the quality start and other people are getting the quality start, you're dead in the water.
Yeah, that's the first thing that I do when I open FanDuel app is I go to the live scoring and I sort by pitchers, and I want to see like, did anybody get to 60 yet? Because it's either everybody's going to be in the same pack around 40 and it doesn't matter, or someone broke free and you need to find a way to make up 20 points in your lineup. And that's a lot. If you don't get that nut pitcher, you can't miss to try to win that tournament then. You have to have it. And that makes it really scary. And that's what's really scary about having like low level amounts of, at least for me today, Bieber, Odorizzi to an extent, even Blake Snell on FanDuel. You get, even against whatever you want to call this Boston lineup. If I told you that Blake Snell went for 65 fantasy points on FanDuel, you'd be like, yeah, he probably K'd like 14 because he's Blake Snell. And then those are the only lineups that can win that contest. And it's scary. Whereas on DK, like you can kind of make up for it if you hit the right two. Like you can get there with 2 pitchers if you need to. FanDuel, man, it makes it really, really difficult.
What's more important, BVP or revenge? Actually, it's the baby games. It's truly the baby games.
It's the best way to do it, Brick, actually, is you look at BVP in revenge spots on the days that there's bobbleheads.
Oh, by the way, Christian Yelich bobblehead. Someone mentioned that earlier today in chat. I believe it was Eric Johnson. So shout out to Eric Johnson.
Yeah. So if you can get someone that has a bobblehead day with good BVP in a revenge matchup, so maybe like if Yelich's bobblehead was happening against the Marlins and Yelich was really good against Pablo Lopez, I mean, you should play him at like 600%. You should try to figure out how to only play Yelich. See if you can get him into a lineup more than once.
If you click really quick on Yahoo, you can do that. It won't let
if you click it really
it.
fast, maybe you can get all 3. Can you fill all 3 spots? Because that's the trifecta of good stats, right? BVP, revenge. Are we missing any? Birthdays, I guess.
Birthdays, bobbleheads, BVP, babies. They all start with B's.
Yeah.
And then the last one, friends and family.
Okay. Oh, friends and family is good too. Yeah. So what was the one we got? I think it was during the NBA season. Oh, so-and-so lives in New York, so his whole crew is going to be in DC for this game. That one was a good one. I don't know who dropped that gem, but
so do I need to mention on the afternoon slate Steven Strasburg's from San Diego?
Probably. Well, you need to.
Does that help that San Diego also strikes out a lot against righties and Strasburg's having a great season?
So some people will care that is the truth. Yeah, actually, now I think we've gone over most of this main slate. If you have any of the afternoon thoughts.
Oh, let me kick off one more crunch.
Yeah, sure.
Do that. Get rid of that. Run my 5-mans. All right. Let me get over here. So the afternoon slate. So in no man's land is the Oakland Texas game. I will be playing that on Yahoo. I gave up making my Yahoo lineup, so I just started everybody in the 6 or 7 lineups I hadn't made yet after the 2 o'clock games. So I'm missing out on all these 1 o'clock and 1 to 1:15 starts, but that's okay because they do have all day, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I love on Yahoo. I'll try to work in some from the both the Athletics and Texas side. But on the 3-game, it's only a 3-game late slate for the other side. So you've got Walker Buehler going against Madsen Bumgarner. I think Buehler is absolutely fine in this spot. He is similarly priced to Steven Strasburg. I would prefer Strasburg by a country mile, but Walker Buehler would be the direct pivot. I see no point in playing both of them on your team. That is not a good way to go, and it's going to hamstring you for your batters. But if you're looking at going against Bumgarner, definitely Chris Taylor. Probably be in the top of the order. Kike Hernandez, one of those guys is going to be at the top. Kike, yes, we're going to say BVP. He does well against Bumgarner for whatever reason, and he's really good against lefties. So he is not afraid of him. But again, it's San Francisco, 80 degrees today. It's a 1 o'clock local start, so it's warmer than we are expecting to see. But I would think those two guys are okay, and on DK at 34 and 3,800 respectively. I think they're solid. Going against Buehler, I wouldn't mind Belt. If Stephen Vogt's in the lineup, I would not hate that. The Mariners, I don't know what got into way the LeBlanc, but he had a nice game, but he doesn't get any strikeouts. As we mentioned earlier, the Angels in the outfield are where you want to go with Anaheim. Jose Suarez is an interesting guy. I had initially thought about taking the Mariners, but ultimately I decided to go with the Angels after I dug into Suarez a little bit. Now, he's expensive. He's like $8,000 on DK, but let me see what I had here. Let's see. He went back to so he had his opening start last weekend, or his debut last weekend, got sent back to AAA. Do you know who Salt Lake is, their mascot?
I've got a couple guesses for that I probably shouldn't say on the stream.
I'll save it then. It is the Bees. I did not know that.
So they're the Salt Lake City Bees?
Yes. I have no idea why.
Is that do they have a big bee population there?
Not that I was familiar, not that I understood. I did
so
not know.
Apparently I do, by the way, which I never really knew. Wilmington Bees. We are Bee City, USA.
Seriously?
Yeah. Apparently. Wilmington was named the 10th Bee City. We got the 10th Bee City certification in 2006.
Do you have a lot? What do they call it? Like aviaries? Is that where you have a bee?
I don't know. I don't know anything about bees. I was just driving downtown and drove past the sign, and it was like, Wilmington, blah, blah, blah. Bee City, USA. And I was like, come again? Never heard a single person talk about a bee in 10 years. But yeah, Bee City, USA.
They said Utah is the Beehive State. This is from Bougie in Premium Chat. He lives there. So there you go. I literally didn't know, but now that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it does. I can't wrap my head. The fact that teams keep their same nickname is ridiculous. The Utah Jazz being the Jazz is some of the dumbest stuff I've ever heard in my life.
Well, how many people in chat even know that they were the New Orleans Jazz before they moved to Utah? That was even before me.
Yeah, I'll never understand it. Just change the damn name. They should have changed it 20 years ago. We would have been long over it and forgot that they were ever the Jazz.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... I don't understand how that never changes. You never see teams never change their nickname. Why can't the Nets just be the Swamp Dragons? Sometimes we just need things in life.
The San Diego Sails, or pardon me, Clippers.
Yeah.
People don't remember that one.
We can get into all sorts of weird ones for baseball. The Bean Eaters, but I don't think a lot of people were worried about team nicknames in 1907.
The Spiders, the Cleveland Spiders.
Cleveland Spiders. I know way too much about that stuff. Shout out to OOTP Baseball. Yeah. Like the LA Lakers. What lakes? Yeah. All those lakes dried up. They're all dry now.
Oh shit, we got 4 minutes left. I better save this.
So JR Music in YouTube chat says bees can lay up to 15,000 eggs in a day. Do bees lay eggs?
Well, I think the queen does.
Is that how are they eggs? Isn't eggs like a specific type of animal? I've never heard anybody be like bee eggs. Honeybee queen. Okay, so the queen lays one egg in each cell. She laid 15. Yeah, so they're eggs. Eggs. Didn't know that. I don't know anything about how animals work. I don't at all. But I really, really, really didn't know that bees laid eggs. Think about how little a B is. How do you lay 15,000 of something?
Do you know what the most common state bird is?
Most common state bird?
Yeah.
I don't know, the pigeon.
The cardinal.
That makes sense to me.
Like literally, like 7 states have the cardinal as their official state bird.
I don't know any of them. I don't know I don't know any of the state whatevers that belong to the state of North Carolina or Pennsylvania. The only 2 places that I've ever lived. I don't know the state bird for either of those things. I don't know the state whatever. Chances are, I don't see those things. What's the state bird of North Carolina?
Probably the cardinal.
Safe bet.
I'm being serious. I know it's the state. It's the state bird of Virginia. Washington State is the.
It is the cardinal. Unoriginal pieces of garbage.
Yeah, Washington is the western goldfinch.
What's Pennsylvania's?
The official state song of Washington is "Roll On Columbia." The official folk song of Washington State is "Louie Louie." They tried to get "Louie Louie" turned into the state song. It did not go well.
I'll give you $1 if you could tell me what the Pennsylvania state bird is without looking it up. Don't look at YouTube chat because somebody just.
No, I'm not. The thrush-billed pheasant.
I think you just made that bird up. The ruffed grouse.
Oh, grouse! I should have gone with the grouse.
Yeah, should have. Jerry Lang says, Bundy gonna win me a Q. Why, he's stacking against him? I don't think that's how you meant it, Jerry, but that's more likely to win you that Q. James says, where's my $1, Josh? That was not an open invitation for $1. That was the EMAX specific bet. Zach Carpenter. Virginia sucks. I live here. Can't wait to be done with school and move. Kudos, man. That's the way I felt about Pennsylvania.
Well, I moved here, so I'm not moving away unless I go to Florida. I did think about moving to Charlotte for a while.
It's a good spot. It's a good spot. It's a really terrible city to drive to if you're in Wilmington, though.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Well, the last hour stretch is like a single lane highway with no ability to get gas. It's a blast. It's a blast. If something bad happens on the road, like it just becomes the worst ride you could take. I don't care what the books say. Oregon is duck.
That's good. That's
fair enough.
Good. I guess I should have gone with eagle then for Pennsylvania.
It should be. I don't know.
The SoCal bird is a woman in a bikini.
Like New York should just use the pigeon, right?
Well, Earl Fountain says it's the middle finger.
That's also true.
I thought that was New Jersey's official state bird, to be fair. That's how I've heard that joke.
What's a bird that eats a lot of garbage? I guess the pigeon, huh?
Yeah.
Alrighty. 1:05 Eastern. We are locked. Shout out to Noah Syndergaard for being my dude today. Really exciting to know that by 1:40 I won't even have to check my lineups.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm dropping the Sean V t-shirt link in chat just for fun. I am wearing it. It's awesome. It's very comfortable, soft, and luxurious. I'm also going to drop my pinned tweet. We've got the Fred VanVleet contest here on tomorrow. There's 11 spots left. If you win this contest, it's just $1. It's on DK. If you win this contest and you have an Awesemo avatar, you get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus. So that's my Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks. There you go. Pinned tweet. I about said it the same way again. But check out that. You'll get the link that'll take you to join the DK League. That's how you can access the contest. I'm not posting the contest links on Twitter anymore. You got to join the Awesemo group.
There you go. Hit the like button on your way out the door. Subscribe to the channel. We will be back tomorrow morning. Jake and Adam breaking it down to start off your day. Normal Monday for you, plus potentially the end of the NBA playoffs. You think the Raptors close this out tomorrow?
Yes. Well, no, I don't think so. I don't think Durant's coming back. I think there's a chance Golden State just wills their way to a win, and then Toronto closes at home.
I would really like to see the Warriors exercise the 3-1 demon and come back from a 3-1 deficit to win the NBA Finals in Toronto.
That would be interesting.
I'm all for that. I'm all for it. Hit the like button on your way out the door. MLB Strategies, the promo code. 50% off your first month with us. Emac, what do you got?
Shout out to Cameron High. He went to school with Fred Van Elite in Wichita State.
Fair enough. I
Nice.
bet that was fun.
There you go. But yeah, check that out. The pinned tweet. We also have. I'll be in Premium Slack at 3. We'll talk the late slate. We'll talk strategies. We can talk game selection. We can talk fantasy cruncher. The world is your oyster. So that'll be fun. And then of course we still have the spotlight hitters and pitchers article, which does cover the 2 o'clock and the 4 o'clock slates. So I'll drop that link in there one more time. So there you go.
Awesome. Good luck, everybody. Join me. Let's go cheer for Noah Syndergaard, who should be starting to throw in like 2 minutes. Adios, everybody.